Hi loves, my name is Reece-James and I'm currently working with National Student Pride. National Student Pride is the biggest LGBTQIA plus pride event for students in the UK, reaching its 15th birthday this year in 2020. And in celebration of National Coming Out Day this year, National Student Pride are launching a campaign called #ShareYourStory to encourage everyone to be brave and to be unapologetically themselves about their sexuality and their gender. Across this campaign, National Student Pride and myself want to help and give hope to all those struggling with their sexuality and gender. You're going to see a lot of these coming out stories today, from today up until the main event coming in 2021. We hope we can provide some hope that things do get better and education for others on why we still need LGBTQIA plus pride. My name is Reece-James and this is my story. So I came out at the young age of 13, which was a very long time ago. We're talking 2007. And it was wild. It was a wild time. So I had a few previous years coming out of struggling with who I was, I kind of felt weird and a bit like an alien because I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't fit in with the boys. I didn't fit in with the girls. And I was like, where is my place on this planet? So as I mentioned, I didn't really have the best experience coming out. Unfortunately, some of us don't. But I told my best friend at school at the time during our walk to end of day registration, which is a 10-minute thing, and by the end of that, everybody knew. Everybody in my year group were coming up to me, quizzing me and heckling me about something I still really did not understand. I was not ready to come out at all. So fast forward a few weeks, I had to tell my mum. Now, as I mentioned, back then it was a different time. It was sexuality and gender were still very much a taboo subject to talk about, especially in the town I grew up in. The town I grew up in, every election they vote Conservative, which isn't exactly great for the LGBTQIA plus community, in my opinion. So it just wasn't a great time. So as you can imagine, a bit of a struggle. And also, back then, you also didn't really have any positive queer representation on TV. And to be honest, we still don't really have much. It's a lot better than it was in 2007. But yeah, that all it was queer people being the butt of a joke, and having storylines that always ended up negatively. From a very young age, I was very scared to be anything but straight, because I thought, from what I saw on TV, that was what my life was going to end up like, which is not exactly a positive mindset on things. But yeah, I had to tell my mum. Back to the story. So I walked into her room, tears streaming down my face. So did not know how she was going to take it. And also, it's just in classic dramatic form for me. It's just something I'm going to do. So I just said to her that I liked boys. But she didn't know what to say or do, so she just told me to go back to bed. Bless her. So I did. Being a good boy, I listened to my mum. But I still couldn't sleep. All I could hear from the front door was my mum sat there crying and smoking. And I know you think she's if someone's like crying and like something, like, you take it as a negative. And I did take it as a negative. For a while, I didn't really bring it up in conversation, even though I wanted to. But a few weeks later, I sort of managed to pluck up the courage to talk to my mum about it, and she wanted to talk to me about it as well. She didn't know how to bring it up at the time, but she just was confused and she was scared for me. She obviously saw how people are treated on TV, in the news, for being LGBTQIA+. So she was very scared of what my future could be like. But I just had to tell her that everything's going to change and everything's going to be fine and I'm going to be fine. So I just had to explain it the best way I knew how I could to my mum. Back in the day, we were that big EastEnders fans. We loved them. So I just had to tell her that I fancy Stacey, but I prefer Bradley. Which I think was a really easy thing to understand, especially for my mum. Uh, Everything now, fast forward to 2020, is now fine. It's perfect. I could not ask for a better support system. That is my mum and my brothers. And my mum is my bestest friend in the entire world. She's incredible, and I could not ask for a better mum. She's been positive and understanding and willing to educate herself on a lot of things, especially sexuality and gender. I still don't really have a firm grip on my sexuality. I still prefer Bradley over Stacey, but I'm not putting off Stacey. I'm still just sort of plotting around life. I'm kind of just free spirited. I love who I love. I fancy who I fancy. And that's just me. I'm just a bit of everywhere. My name, again, is Reece-James, and that was my story. Please, if you do think yourself as brave enough and want to share your story, then please join in with the campaign and under #ShareYourStory. You can find National Student Pride everywhere on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and various other platforms. And you can use us to keep up to date with LGBTQIA+ news, events, and you can keep up to date and find out what is happening with our 2021 events. We're looking forward to seeing you there, and we're looking forward to hearing your story. But in the meantime, stay safe, wear a mask, and wash your hands. Thank you.